No, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are audible, sir. So shall we start?
Yes. Yes.
Good morning, one and all. Myself, Achila Prakash Narayankar, Assistant Professor, Computer Science and Engineering Department. Welcome you all for this half-day workshop on topic Design Thinking, Critical Thinking and Innovation Design. So for this workshop, we are having the resource person as Dr. Prashant Pawar. I welcome you, sir. And the coordinator of this workshop are me and Mrs. PG Sanmani, who is also the Assistant Professor from Computer Science and Engineering Department. So I would like to introduce today's resource person. Sir has done MTech in Structural Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology and PhD in Aerospace Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and postdoctorate from Aerospace and Information Engineering Department, Konkuk University, Seoul, South Korea. Moving towards his work experience, Sir has worked as a research associate in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore from 2002 to 2006. Then he is worked as a diagnostics and prognostics engineer at Eton India Private Limited, Pune from 2006 to 2007. Then postdoctorate fellow at Konkuk University, Seoul, South Korea from 2007 to 2008. Then he has worked as an assistant professor at SVERI's college, that is Shri Education and Research Institute, College of Engineering, Pandharpur, from the year 2008 to 2013. Then he worked as an associate professor at the same college from 2013 to 2018. Then he worked as a professor at the same college from 2019 to 2020. And currently is working as a professor and dean academics at the same college. Then moving towards his publications, Sir has published more than 100 papers in national and international journals and conferences. He is having 4 patents. He is having the Google Scholar citation as 1363 and index as 19. He has guided 6 PhD students and guiding 6 PhD students He has guided more than 20 postgraduate students. He has received research grants of more than rupees 4.5 crore for 6 projects and received consultancy of more than 2 crore. He is having CMI level 5 certificates in management and leadership from Dudley College, UK. Then moving towards his membership of professional organization, he is the member of Institute of Engineers India, a member of IST, that is Indian Society for Technical Education, a member at American Helicopter Society USA, then Maharashtra State Center Committee member for Aerospace Division, Institute of Engineers India. Moving towards his work as a reviewer of various international journals like Smart Materials and Structures, IOP, Aerospace Technology elsewhere, Mechanical Systems and Signal Processing elsewhere. Coming towards his received as awards as Professor Chintakindi V. Joga Rao Medal for Best Thesis for the year, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in the year 2006. Best Teacher Award for Punyashlok Ahilya Devi Holkar, Solapur University, Solapur, Maharashtra in the year 2019. AICT Vishweshwara Best Teacher Award in the year 2020. He also received the Young Scientist Fast Track Grant from Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He is having more than 15 years of experience in teaching, research, consultancy, and academic management. So we are very thankful that we are having such a great personality with us to guide us. So thank you for being here, sir. And I would like to hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible? And
Yes,
whether my slides are visible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay. Good morning. So I will be mostly focusing on design thinking, and maybe design thinking is one of the tool which will take you to have a critical thinking, and it will also be useful for creating a innovative design or innovations in the design. So before I start my presentation on design thinking, let me quickly give background of various activities what we are doing at our institute. This is where we work. It's a SVERI Pandharpur, and we started various activity with the concept of village, that is best of city in a village, with the under the guidance of Padma Vibhushan Dr. Anil Kakodkar. And in this he had the concept of how we can accumulate the best things which are there in the city and best thing which are in the village, and with that concept we got a fund from government of Maharashtra, and we have been working on this activity from 2013. And in this what we did is we created various technological centers in the villages, and those centers were further connected by point to point Wi-Fi connectivity. We connected 5 villages within the 20-kilometer radius, and we had conducted various activity. Now I guess we have to repair some of the connections, but at least 2 connections are still working. We started almost in 2003 this activity, and it's almost 20 year sorry almost 10 years since the project is over. So what we did is, like, we signed MOU with BRC Mumbai, and through that we got various technologies which got developed in BARC for the deployment in the villages. And for that we established a facility called as a rural human and resource development facility. The purpose was to develop the technology useful for the villages, and also the demonstration of technologies which were developed by BRC Mumbai. And in the process, we had visits of various scientists from BRC Mumbai uh, for the activity of train the trainer. In the process, those scientists helped our faculty members and users for creating the demo cum training facility. Further, we conducted several awareness camps in the villages to make aware about this center and activities at this center. Then we trained the NGOs and Gram Panchayat groups and individuals about these technologies. Further, we involved UG and PG students of our campus, and through their undergraduate, postgraduate projects also we developed various activities. And you can see this is like about 30,000 square feet facility we have created for developing the technologies useful for the rural masses, and these are some of the technologies listed here. And with the help of our faculty members and our students, we could n- not only modify the existing technologies, but we try to develop few more technologies like natural fiber based composites like water filter dipping setup and agri waste to low cost housing, etc. So these are the various new technologies that got developed at institute. Further, we whatever about 9 to 10 technologies which include like Nisarguna biogas plant, soil organic carbon testing kit, water filter, seed bank, foldable solar dryer, and a laser land leveler. These technologies we tried to deploy through from the lab to field. These technologies were just developed by BRC scientists, and technology know-how document was created, and we fabricated or we installed these technologies at our campus, and we tried to take it to the field. These are the photographs of some of the awareness camps which we have conducted involving various village people. This is another group of activities where we try to create entrepreneurship amongst the rural masses. We arranged specific programs from the identified villages to take them and make them entrepreneurs. Further, what we did is whatever technology documents we had, they were in English. We tried to translate them into Marathi. We made a different kind of documents like training manual, like kind of SOPs, standard operating procedures, and maybe manufacturing processes and experience documents. All these documents were translated in Marathi, and that made like kind of a great impact for propagating the technology in the rural masses. And you can see further, I was telling you that we involved our undergraduate, postgraduate, as well as our PhD students in developing technologies, and these are some of the examples of technologies developed. You can see this is a CFD analysis carried out by uh, our PhD student. Then this is like you have just seen the working model of multi-story wind turbine developed by one of my PhD student. Then like we developed some kind of uh, value addition activity for the artisans. Even for computer science, we develop some kind of data management related activity, and then microfluidics and some mechanical low cost housing related products. Am I audible? Is there any issue?
Yes, sir, you are audible. No issue, sir.
Okay. And further, we also filed various patents in this process, like which are useful for the like based on the technologies which are useful for the society. You can see this is the like sugar factory chain testing facility. This is like a microfluidic device development related facility. These two are some biomedical devices, and this is some advanced biogas plant developed, and these were like filed as a patent. Further, no, we wanted to propagate these technologies, and we didn't just wanted to keep these things with us. So what we did is we developed a culture of science and technology. For that, we have been organizing events, something called as Agro Challenge, where we invite various students of UG, PG, diploma, and agricultural colleges, and we encourage students to develop products useful for rural and agricultural applications. Then we had also been organizing something called as a theme meeting. We used to invite the faculty members from various institutes in Maharashtra, uh, and we used to invite the experienced researchers from IITs, IIC, and maybe some research labs like BRC, etc. And we used to ask them to demonstrate the technologies developed by them. And further, we used to ask the participants if they have a keen interest and if they have developed some work related to that. Furthermore, we started international conference. Almost we started in 2016, and every alternate year we have been organizing techno societal international conference, 2016, 2018, 2020, and this year also, uh, just on 9th and 10th December to 2020-22, we had organized international conference. So like we in the process, we not only initially took the technologies from BRC, but we started collaborating with other institutes like IIT Bombay, IISc Bangalore, PSG Coimbatore, COEP, etc. And we started exploring, can we bring few more technologies that are useful for our region? And you can see this is another activity in Ken for rural school. Uh, to summarize the experience of this big project, why I presented is like how we work for society through technology that I wanted to demonstrate. And I have visited maybe almost 6 months back to your institute, and your institute is also located in rural part of uh, I guess Kolhapur district, and so you can make use of this learning what we have learned through our experience, and with the help of your faculty members and your students, you can also bring the change in your region. You can start working on the technologies useful for your region. That is the purpose I presented this, and then we will move to the design thinking part. So what we did is, to summarize, what we did is we conducted initially detailed survey of local need. So we wanted to understand what are the requirements of the region, how like we can solve. Unless until there is a demand, if you start pushing some technology, it may not become successful. So initially we try to identify through this survey which was carried out among the local community, and further based on this need identification, we connected the technologies that were available with BRC Mumbai, because initially we had a support from BRC, and it was important to take the well developed technology for the deployment. And then whatever the needs or the problems which we identified, we segregated in the three levels, as a short term, moderate term, and long term. The one which can be immediately solved by using existing technology, the one which need some work, some more trials, that we said as a moderate term, and the one which had just got know-how and the technology is not yet fully developed, that we categorized as a long term. Further, we had specified the like amount of time required for each of the deployment, and identifying the impact of it. Then, as I suggested, like the three levels were further linked with product technologies and know-how. So the short-term deployment was possible where product is fully developed. The moderate term was possible when the technology is known but product is not yet developed. And long term is just know how science is available, and with the help of this science we will able to solve. But from science to like some kind of product prototype, it will take a lot of time, and that's why it was kept in a long term. So that's how you can see, like short term were like ready to deploy the product, moderate were products with region specific modification, and long term maybe technology. So technology to product with the help of knowledge partners. So like sometimes you are, as you are a small institute, you may not have all the resources to solve that problem, so you can take help of some higher level knowledge partners like IITs, NITs, and maybe some other good engineering institutes or relevant institute in the region, and with their help we can solve the problem. Then we can have a technical groups to convert this know-how to product know-how to technology, and technology to product. For walking that path, we can have like faculty members and research student participating and creating some kind of undergraduate project or postgraduate project or PhD. So that's how we worked on this project. Now I will start presenting you on design thinking. So you might have heard this is a like from last 2 3 years, people have been in Western countries it was well known term. In India also we
Left.
hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Hello.
was disconnected.
Yes.
Let me share once again my screen. Okay, up to what did you listen up to this slide?
Yes, sir. The slides
Hello.
are visible. Visible, sir.
So did you listen up to this slide? So I started design thinking. and then it got interrupted, I guess. So should I start from this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so just I gave background like how technology can bring the change in the society, and how you can make use of relevant technologies for solving the local problem. And now let me move on to the actual topic, like design thinking. So you might have heard this term. This term was coined maybe last few years, and people are using it. But before that, there was a term called as a design, and then this term came as a design thinking. So like first we will understand the difference between the terminology, like what is meant by design and what is meant by design thinking. So design is something like we play around like dead activity, where like product is there without giving attention to any uh, of the users, or user involvement is minimal. So our user considerations are minimal. In that case we will do just design, and sometimes we can call it as a design as a one way design, and mostly we refer it as a like something called as dimensioning or flowchart, and maybe process etc., that is called as a design. But design thinking is completely different than the design. Some of you may get confused, like design what is uh, how it is different from uh, design, how design thinking is different. And as most of you may be from computer science, you may have a feeling that why we are attending this lecture. We are just interested in coding and maybe doing something programming related, how it is going to be useful for us. So you will understand that how design thinking will help you in all the streams, and where to use and when not to use. Like first we will address the point when to use the design thinking. So when we should use the design thinking, when we are facing the complex problem. Okay. uh, and when we are facing human centered challenge. What is meant by complex problem? Do not fully understand the problem domain. When we don't know anything about that problem, we are new to that problem, then we should use the design thinking. Do not have good solution in hand. When we have perfect solution, good solution, then you can think of maybe design aspects and related activity. But if you don't have anything in hand, then you can work to come out of some solution using the design thinking. And when the design is connected to human behavior, emotions and habits. So for example, let's say Facebook, or maybe LinkedIn, or maybe Twitter, uh, or maybe Instagram. So if you see that, it's not just about the software, it's not just about the GUI or UI, whatever you say, but it's about the hooking tactics and the kind of trainings what they have been using, and that is like a design thinking they have used. Something you should read, all the computer science students should read a book called as Hooked, HOOKED, Hooked. So this book tells about the techniques, how when we develop a product, how we have to keep the user connected. And in that, what you will understand in this process is that this design thinking creates a human behavior. Like if you take, as I said, Facebook, it makes you feel like when you share some posts, how many, if someone comments, you get some kind of notification, or if you have kept this notification off, at the back of your mind you may get feel like, oh, let me check how many of people, how many of my friend have liked, how many of my friends said happy birthday, or maybe how many of my friends have shared it, or if I share a video, how many of my friends have viewed it or liked it, disliked it. So all these human interventions, even though it's a simple web-based software, it's nothing much. No content is provided by Facebook. Most of the contents are given by like general audience or public only. Hardly there is any content provided by Facebook. All the, so content generation cost for the Facebook is zero. Still you can see the connects and visits of people on the website. They are more, so because they have given thought about how it is like connected to human behavior, how it is connected to emotions, how it is connected with habits. And that's how this design thinking will take play a important role, and how you that will help you to develop your products, may it be computer science, may it be of any branch. And second aspect, like when to use design thinking, is when facing human centered challenge, the process to understand human aspects of challenge and developing ideas based on this understanding. So you can see that like as you are signing in this social media, they are trying to grab the data of your behavior. Like suppose you visit to Amazon, and you will see if you have visited some, let's say, soap or shampoo product, or maybe shoes, or maybe you have surfed for the uh, some kind of mobile, etc. And you will see that same advertisement you will see if you visit to Facebook or Instagram or some other website. You will see, because they have captured your behavior, and accordingly they are doing targeted advertisement. And so even some of the companies, or some of the this thing, they study behavior about, like let's say you are doing the booking of air ticket, or maybe some kind of purchase of product. So you will see that if number of visitors are suddenly increased because of some phenomena, so they will try to slightly increase the cost, or they will try to slightly decrease the cost, creating the temptation. Like let's say they reduce, let's say you will get 10% discount if you purchase within 5 hour, or within 1 hour, or within 15 minutes. Otherwise you will lose that 10% discount. Such kind of temptations are done because they have understood the human behavior, and they have used the design thinking. And that's the one of the example of design thinking. So the way we have understood when to use the design thinking, we should also know when not to use the design thinking. So when not to use the design thinking, when don't use in the processes that are not open-ended. Suppose you want like some processes which need to be implemented within 1 hour or within 15 hours. So I give one best example for that matter. Like there is a fire in the building. There are two problems. Maybe you can unmute and try to answer when to use the design thinking. So there are two examples. One, there is a fire in the building, and then second problem you have to solve is how to minimize fires in the building. So first is there is a fire in the building. You cannot keep thinking, oh, why this fire took place, who has done wrong, how can I this thing, what different techniques are available for this stopping this fire, which one is the effective one, which one will be user friendly. If there is a fire, simple way is whatever technique available, whatever technique you know, you either try to stop the fire or run away from the building. That's the simple case. You cannot use design thinking when there is a fire. But if you are, if there is a no fire, and if there are have been fire in earlier cases in this building, you want to understand what are the different causes, how the mitigation of fire can be done. uh, in that case you can use the design thinking. Maybe like you can think some habits or practices are there, like maybe in some buildings cooking, uh, some of the precautions to be taken, they are not being taken. Or maybe some kind of hazardous material or the construction material, or any other thing which we have missed, that will come out of design thinking. But when there is a fire, you should use fire extinguishers, not the design thinking approach. This is a hostile territory for everyone who want to plan for a specific result in advance. When there is an emergency, when there is a hostile territory, you cannot use the design thinking. I hope I made clear when to use design thinking and when not to use the design thinking. So before we go ahead, like we can understand what are the like a traditional thinking and how design thinking will uh, help. So we used to do planning. So in design thinking, it's not planning, it's about portfolio. Instead of theory, in design thinking, something will come is as a practice. Instead of power, we have to have a purpose for the activity. So instead of objects, there will be focus on systems. We will have to do this paradigm shift. Instead of structures, structures means you cannot change, means student should come from this door, girl should come from this side, or student should come sit on the right side benches, girls should sit on the uh, left side benches. So that is called as a well defined structure. So what is mean by agility? No, shift immediately. Is it possible to shift conveniently, whatever way best you can sit? That's called as a agility. Then there is a, in traditional approach, we had something called as a formal education, like 10 to 5 classes. Teachers will come, teach out of syllabus, and just there will be written exam, and maybe sometimes there will be oral, but no, not much attention is paid for these orals. So instead of this formal learning, there is something called as fast learning or require based learning. I have to develop some product, and I don't know some of the points, some of the issues. You cannot say, sir, let me go in third year and then I will study that topic and thereafter I will think of developing product. No. So whatever is required to learn to develop this new product, new idea, you have to learn. And that's instead of formal education, you have to have fast learning, maybe doing some kind of add-on courses, maybe watching some YouTube videos, maybe going to specific experts and learning, surfing some web material, browsing through some books. These are the ways of doing fast learning. There is another important thing is a conformity and rebellion. So in the traditional thinking, we have to have, I have developed something, is it correct or not? That's called as uh, conformity, or whether it has followed the laws of science 1 2 3. So in the rebellion, it says why I should follow this law. In the rebellion, it says why I should follow this law, why cannot I break this law. What will happen if I break this law? Is why I have made this assumption, why to make this assumption, let's relax this assumption. Instead of this, Can I make this another assumption? That's called as revelation. So how do we do, what are the steps of design thinking? So these are the steps of design thinking. You can just read, then I will explain. Okay, sometimes in the book there are 4 steps, 5 steps. I have chosen the 7 steps. Some of the steps are skipped in the design thinking, but more or less this is the best way of using design process. The first one is defining, second is research, third is ideate, fourth is prototype, fifth is select, sixth is implement, and seventh is learning. These are the kind of activities. And then in the second row, there are outcomes. So first one is activity, second row is outcome. So first one is define. You have to define the problem, and what will be outcome of it? It will generate design brief. Then research. What do we get out of research? The background of the problem. Ideate. Out of the ideation process, what do you get? Solutions. Then prototype. So what is out of that? What you get? You resolve out of various solutions. You may have 100 solutions, and by making prototype you will arrive at a particular shortlisting of solution, and finally selecting, and it will have a rationale for selecting the solution. And the next one is implementing, and implementing phase we will be delivering the solution, and last phase is nothing but learning. In the process of this implementation, what did we learn? We have to take the feedback. Those feedbacks are useful for our next design. When we are solving similar problem, we will have this feedback useful for making improving our understanding. So let's go step by step. First one is define step. uh, in this case, what are we doing? Establishing what the problem is. So the first step is we have to understand what the problem is, and it's like uh, in this process we write down, we understand the customer, we maybe verbally, in the written form, in a simple or complex, whether the problem is complex or what. And a brief contains a specific goal that is to be made by design, but it may be couched in terms of having various interpretations. So sometimes your users, we underestimate user, or but another problem is asking too many questions to users is also difficult, because user don't like, he or she may not know the kind of exactly what they want, and in that case making the design brief is very difficult task. So we can create a checklist, like what we can get is like, do you understand what the client is asking for? So you have to keep on asking, confirming, do you mean this? Do you think this is the way it should be? Do you think you want to look in this form or that form, or do you want to handle with this or handle in that way? Does the client understand what they are asking for? Sometimes clients are also not clear what they want. Do you agree on the definition of the terms? So whatever clients have said, sometimes you should not restrict the whatever they are asking. Let them ask, let them continue. It's kind of demand gathering. Don't bother about, don't immediately tell that it will go very costly, or no, it's not possible. uh, so likewise, or such technology is available. At this moment you should just keep on gathering the information. Does brief have any constraint? Manage the client expectation. So in this case, you can see from the pictorially, there could be like a proposition, what your customer wants. Then there could be a product what you will be developing based on demand, and there will be a value created by a particular product. Or and the having concurrency or having all these things aligned is will be done with the help of design thinking. Next step is research or finding out the background of requirement or collecting the background information. So there are two ways in research also we do it. It is called as a literature survey. So here we are not only going through literature, but we are also kind of sitting with clients, several sittings we will have to do to understand. There is a primary research and then there is a secondary research. What is a primary research? A primary source of research is a feedback generated during the learning phase of projects previously undertaken with the same or similar client. Maybe we have similar experience, and based on that whatever we get idea, that is called as a primary research. Such feedback provides starting point with regard to what worked and what did not work in a specific target group. So we know that in this region what will work and what will not work, and that is called as a primary research. And if you don't have the data of the primary research based on our previous experience, you'll have to generate that data. There are various techniques. Maybe we will see some techniques also for each of the stage, what techniques have to be used, and then you will understand. In the secondary research, uh, it's a information obtained from general secondary sources such as consumer market research report. Like we are trying to construct a house, then we are trying to understand in this region what type of house will be suitable, what others have constructed, what are the cost of material, whether it should be constructed with the natural sand or artificial sand, or some kind of demographic background, what these Maharashtra people may like, or what this Western Maharashtra, what kind of houses they prefer, what are their living styles, what are their kind of uh, activities they do at their in their home, what are their lifestyle. So all these things we can understand, and based on that we can kind of create the requirement uh, as a research background. Next one is, once we know what is required by the customer, once we do the background research, next idea is creating potential solutions. So this is called as an ideation stage. In this stage, the design team draws research gathered and the constraint established in the define stage. So one is in research stage, we know 100 different ways of doing it, but in the design brief, we may have understood some of the constraint. Let's say uh, customer may say, sir, mm, I have to construct two-story house with 4 rooms with just in 10 lakh rupees or 5 lakh rupees and all that. So then accordingly, like there is a constraint of cost, or maybe your customer says, sir, no, we want only single story building, and that too in let's say 1,000 square feet. Everything should be there, all maybe bedroom, hall, and kitchen, and maybe some recreation space and all that. So how can we do? Let's say let's multi-purpose use or multi-folding options and all that. So this information is used to create ideas with which to tackle the design brief. So in this ideation stage, what are we doing is we are creating different ideas, and this is called as a divergent phase. We are not restricting to come out the design team for giving the ideas. We are telling, let it come, let it come. We are not stopping. So in the checklist, what we should check during ideation, do you understand the design brief, whether your problem is correctly defined? Then and then only we will able to generate the ideas. Do you have sufficient research information? Have you done proper background check, background information? and which method will be used for the idea generation. So what is meant by different which method? So we'll see in the next few slides the different ways of idea generation, and that time you'll understand. Next step, stage 4, is prototype or resolving the solution. In the ideate state, we generate variety of potential solution aligned with the design brief. Prior to selection, it may be necessary to work on most promising solution. So how we can find out most promising solution? The most promising solution will be the solution which will cater to the requirements of design brief, constraints of design brief, uh, like demands given in the design brief, and that has to be tested in some or other way. Like for example, if you are developing some kind of GUI software, you can create a few models. So there are, you might not have written the program behind this thing. There are some prototype GUI prototype development softwares are available. One of them is Pencil Project. I don't know whether you have heard it or not. So instead of writing complete code, you can create a functionalities without even writing a code. You can just create a GUI and you can show the functionalities. So rather than wasting a lot of time on writing code to make GUI and then accessing different database and how it looks, and thereafter suddenly your customer will say no, this is not the way I was expecting, and then you say now sir, changing will be very costly of here, my team has been working from last 4 months 5 months. So instead of doing that, you have to develop even GUI related prototypes, like out of let's say 100 ideas, you can find out which are the 10 best or 5 best ideas and make the prototype. Let customer click and play around that GUI. Maybe some customer will be happy to have minimum number of clicks. We have developed one software for our this thing institute ERP management, and then when we were designing that GUI of that software, we had done several design to minimize the number of clicks for the users to reach at at a particular point from the given desktop. And we also further worked out from one point to another point. When I am in the sixth criteria, if I have to reach to fourth criteria, how many minimum number of clicks will be required? So that can be done by the prototyping. So how do we check in the, what should we check in the prototyping phases? Do all potential solution require prototyping? What elements will the prototype test? It's a very important to understand is what elements of prototype we are testing. Maybe let's say suppose I want to understand the motion of body. Let's say I'm studying robotics. So where I need just, let's say you can create a line model. I don't have to create the fluid mechanics phenomena in my body, or how my face looks like, or how my shape of hand, etc. Not necessary. Just I have to understand the motion of the body. Or on the other hand, if I want to understand how my blood pumping or blood flow will take place, in that case I don't have to move my body. I have to just circulate the some kind of piping system, pressure system, and that. So when you make prototype, you have to make that prototype simple by understanding what elements we are testing through this prototype. Or if I say human body will not have all the human body will not have same prototype. Suppose I am checking it for vehicle dynamics, how vibrations come in the body. In that case I don't have to model anything. Simply whatever my weight is there, 80 kg or 100 kg, that's the simple mass model is will work as a prototype. So please understand, the purpose of prototype is important. During the prototype, what functionality will the prototype we have. So that's what we said. Next is making choices, that is called as select stage. Stage 5 is select stage. In this stage, uh, the point at which one of the proposed design solution is chosen for the development. So out of, let's say, 50 100 idea we got, we have arrived at 5 to 6 ideas at the prototype stage. Thereafter we have to select finally, so that we can make a detailed prototype, or maybe for checking the commercial viability, I can make some 100 such products and check. The key decision criteria is the fitness for the purpose. Does the design meet the needs and goals of the brief, and will it effectively communicate the target audience to achieve those aims? So it's not only meeting the purpose, but it has to communicate, it has to be appealing. You can see there were several mobile models came, and they had lot of functionality than that of iPhone, but it created like some kind of a failure in case of communicating. So what is more important, what is essential, what activities are being used, what are not being used, where to pay more attention in the design process, and when to make, which are the things which we can ignore or introduce in the next design. So like the winning design is a typically that which most closely meet with the design brief or significant part of it. So what do we check? Does the design meet the defined need of the brief? Does the design resonate the target audience? That's the second important, because we have to sell the product. Unless until the sir, everything we are doing, but still target audience is not. You name it and all the functions are there in my product, but audience don't like. What is use of your product? Can the design be produced on time and on budget? It should not become a white elephant. It should be produced on time. It should be produced within budget. Are there other factors to be taken account? Sometimes we miss something, we don't do proper survey, and when we launch, when it goes in market, and we miss some of the big things, maybe cultural differences. Some products may be accepted in a good manner in US, which may not be accepted in Arab countries, or maybe Asian countries, or maybe for that matter in our country India. So that factors have we taken into account. Has the client signed off the design, and whether finally this design is accepted by the client if you have a single client. Next one is implement or delivering the solution. So you have to see that what is the best way of delivering it. And the last stage is learning or obtaining feedback. As I told you, this is again, this will take you to the second stage, that is background. If you have solved several similar problems, then you can make use of this learning stage. And from this learning, when we are developing some similar product next time, what can be the room for improvement, what we missed, what decisions we had not taken properly, that we have to relook in the feedback phase. So I guess, can we take 5 to 10 minute break? Then I will take example, and then I will give some methods.
Sure, sir.
Maybe. So it's a 11:20. Can we meet at 11:30?
Okay, sir. No problem.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Just 1 minute. Okay. So whatever we have done, let me take quick example. This example I have taken from the project which we have implemented. So this is a solar drying solution we have taken example, and then we'll understand. So as you remember, we have understood various steps here, like defining, research, ideate, prototype, select, implement, and learn. We have taken problem is deploy solar drying solution. So we had a technology of solar drying, and we wanted to deploy it in the rural part of India. And then how we have used this design thinking for deploying this technology. So that will be a good example, live example, which we have considered for this explanation. So we can see in the define stage, what we have understood is why drying is required, and then what are the different processes of drying, and why solar drying is required. So and then what it should do, what is the purpose of drying, etc., that we have understood. So what can be dried, maybe fruits, vegetables, how much amount of dehydration can be done, etc. So that is that comes under defining stage. Next comes the research background. Then how are we doing the drying? So what are the different processes of solar drying? Maybe sun or solar drying, freeze drying, vacuum drying, spray drying, convection air superheated drying, or osmotic drying, or microwave. Or if we, for that matter, just focus on the solar drying, what are the different approaches? Maybe direct, indirect, and mixed. In the indirect, there is a natural circulation and forced circulation. So these are the different things available that we have understood. And then further we ideated, like how we can do this thing. What are the processes in the drying? One is like, can we select the direct approach, indirect approach, or mixed approach? What is the time required for each of the process? What are the pre-treatments for each of the process which will be useful? And we can even understand in the background stage what are the existing practices of drying that are being used by those village self-help group, for which we are providing the solution. And that will give us idea on what are the different solutions we may have. And next step is prototyping or resolving. So you can see that we have created different prototypes. In the ideation stage, you may get 100 different idea of making the dryer, but in the prototyping stage you can have select different potential dryers. You can see we created a low cost, we created a sturdy dryer, little costly, we created a portable small dryer, we created a big industry type of dryer. And that out of this you may select one, two, or three designs as per the requirement. Like you can see in the vehicle also, if you see, there are different variants of design. Sometimes one solution may not cater to all the customers. Some may need diesel engine, some may need petrol engine, some may need with low power diesel engine, some may need more power engine, more power diesel engines. Some of them may need high-end electronics inside, let's say LCD screen and maybe voice command, etc. So some of them, they are not ready to spend money on the internal accessories. They just want like a high-end engine, good performance. They are focused on the major parts of the vehicle. So likewise, you may have not only one outcome of the resolution, but it may be more than one or two, more than three, four designs also possible. Then comes the implementation or delivery stage. So if you see, if we would have directly given the uh, dryers, it would not have worked. What we worked on is what are the different recipes that can be made using those dryers, and we guided them in the process, proper training, what is meant by pre-treatment, what is meant by post-treatment, etc. And that's what helped them in improving the acceptability of the dryer, improving the acceptability of the dryer. These are the some of the examples. And then comes learning, the final stage, that is how, why it got propagated, what has gone wrong, what was the correct step, where what improvement we could have done. That part we have to focus so that we can improve the next time drying. So that's the complete cycle. You can see once again, go back from here. First one is defining what is the problem statement, how we can do the drawing, etc. Next one is researching, understanding the background of drawing process. From that, finalizing some of the solutions based around the region specific material availability, or the kind of products that needs to be dried, kind of volume that needs to be dried, etc. That's a kind of ideation. Then we have to make few prototypes. What are the functionalities of prototypes, that has to be also studied. And then comes the implementation stage. So how the your in the implementation stage, how the product acceptability will increase, which aspects have to be focused, the proper training, proper deployment, proper design, less maintenance, more efficiency. What are the different aspects on which implementation is important? And then comes learning, what was good, what was not good, what had gone wrong, so that next time when I will implement similar solution, it will be useful. So that was a example. Okay, so now what we will do is, for each of the stage, we will understand the different tools available in the design thinking. So first, like, we will focus on the research stage. We have seen in the research stage or background, if you go back here, so it was the kind of, what was there, primary research and secondary research. And after this research stage, what has to be done and how this research stage should be followed, that we are going to look into it. So that's where we will see the tools for the research stage. Design team investigates the subject matter of the brief in order to accumulate relevant information that will be used to inform design decision. Okay, so what are the different approaches of doing the background research or research? Is one is identifying the drivers. So there are three terminologies related to that: drivers, barriers, and stimulators. What is meant by drivers? The drivers are the knowledge and condition that initiate and support activities for which design was created. What drives the design? That is called as a driver. Barrier, what makes the design fail? That is called as a barrier. So needs to be identified during the research stage in order to prevent work from being undertaken in a direction has a little chance of being implemented for technical or legal or market reasons. So what will become a hurdle? Maybe if I don't use, whether such material usage is not allowed, food grade material is required. If I propose my solution with some kind of plastic or the material which is not useful or not considered as a food grade material, then my design will fail, and that's what is called as a barrier. Stimulation, what is mean by stimulation? The action or agent, that is nothing but stimuli on a physical or emotional condition. The presence of stimuli produces a response. How I can add stimuli? One is driver is just meant to create the functionality. Driver is just meant to create the functionality, but the stimuli will work for improving the acceptability. So for example, we have developed the dryer. In the drying process, what are the drivers? Like there is a no electricity requirement. It is just based on simple solar, no complicated stuff. These are the drivers. But what is the stimulation? What recipes I will make, in what time I will make recipes. So these are kind of stimuli. Then next is information gathering. In the research phase, we gather the information of two form. One is of quantitative in nature, another is of qualitative in the nature. And then we have to understand the this information in the form of, let's say, statistical survey, sampling, opinion polls, maybe quantitative market research, or some kind of questionnaires, etc. So that's another way of collecting the information. Once we collect the bulk amount of information, we cannot just dump the information on the design team and say go through it and understand whatever you want to understand. No, it has to be presented from the information. It has to be taken from information to wisdom level. It has to be kind of useful information. Okay, for example, if I say I have to start a tea stall in my city, so I collect the data, like in which place people go for taking the tea, where there are more demand, whether sufficient stalls are there. If sufficient stalls are not there, why there are no sufficient stalls? Then what are the other different tea stalls we can open? Maybe some kind of tulsi tea, or maybe black tea, or maybe some coffee shop. If I start some kind of randomly coffee shop, as it works nicely in Karnataka, will it work in Maharashtra? Whether people like coffee? All these questions have to be answered before we go. We have to take feedback. We have to some kind of create some kind of sampling also has to be created at this stage, or maybe at prototype stage. Maybe you can make people to test the copy and get the feedback based on that. So all that data has to be plotted. For example, here cost versus performance. So there are three product. I'm not interested in bulk data. Now simply I understand that as the cost increases, performance increases, or this is low cost, low performance. This is as compared to this A and C. I can understand that A has a more cost and less performance. On the other hand, C has a more less cost compared to A and more performance compared to A. So which one I will select out of A and C? Obviously, C will be the good option. Or maybe some other plots like inclusion, union, intersection, etc. Now we have seen the tools during the research stage. Now we will see the tools for the idea generation. How to generate the idea? Sometimes we are stuck. We are not getting the idea. How do we generate the idea? Once the design brief has been defined and research, the idea generation or ideate stage sees the concept created that may solve the design problem. So what are the different tools for idea generation? So maybe basic design directions. So this is very important. Like how do we get the design directions? It could be divergence, convergence, or transformation. What is mean by divergence? Moving away in a different direction from the common point, also known as a branching out. Suppose you see like people run a people develop a chair in a particular manner. Can I make it in a different option without this hand support, with hand support, adjusting hand support, adjusting height? These are the different divergence I am taking. And once you have hundreds of such designs, I will have to arrive, I will have to minimize number of designs. So that is called as a convergence, that is coming together of two or more entities together towards a central or common ground. Maybe a person has created some new ideas in his design, some B person has created some new ideas in her design, and I am trying to combine, converge best of A and best of B and best of C and best of D, and trying to put to form a new design. That's called as a conversion. Transformation, a qualitative change in appearance or character. It's a completely different. So if you want to understand the transformative design, you have to look the example of mobile. So first time Apple introduced a mobile with just 2 or 3 buttons. They reduced number of buttons, right? And what happened with that? So with those 3 operative buttons, people started enjoying. Then next transformative design, what they did, why to keep those 3 buttons also? Can I make it completely touch screen? So they removed those 2 3 buttons also, and they brought those touch button. So that's called as a transformative design. If suddenly, imagine, if you suddenly, if they would have brought from the button mobile with different buttons and mobile without any buttons, the sometimes it would have become to have acceptability of that transformative design. People might not have liked the old thought. Traditional people, they might have said it is very difficult to handle the keys without this thing, any keys, how can I handle it? But over the period they understood, yes, with 2 buttons I can run, and then they brought the buttonless mobile. So you have to understand the user experience. Suddenly complete transformative also sometimes will be a difficult phase. Further, will design be, the design solution will be different, similar, or will stand out or blend it in the competitors? So you can read whether it is a different, similar, it will stand out, blend with the competitor. If I say my vehicle have, like let's say suddenly I will say why 4 wheels are required. Can I make a circular wheel with only one wheel? Who knows, people may not like, they may not be comfortable, even though it will be technically acceptable, it may not be blend. Sudden change, as I told, users may not like it. You will have to have a systematic change, or maybe some vehicle with big wheels, like some of the SUVs, they are with big wheels, people like it. Some of the vehicles with less ground clearance, it has its own advantage. Some of the vehicles with high ground clearance, it will be kind of, it will stand out, blend out as compared to the competitor. Recently I was observing, like they brought the design in some Tata Motors vehicle where they are like having gas and electrical, I guess, or electrical battery, where they don't have a space to keep the extra wheel, that is stepney, what we call. And they have brought some other approach of maybe puncture removal kit. So I don't know whether it will be accepted or not. So that are the different ways. You have to understand the risk of totally different than the existing design, standing out or blending with the competitor. For example, there are already 5 to 6 tea shops are there. So that's a, or maybe some, for that matter, there is called as a Sarapa Galli, right? So where there are a lot of gold shops. And are you ready to open one more gold shop? That's kind of called as a blending in competitors. And standing out suddenly, instead of opening in that region, you are opening in some other region. People may not like to go to for some isolated shop. People would like to, that's like kind of psychology. When I will go there, I will have option of 5 to 6 different shops. Why should I go for a separate isolated shop? On the other hand, let's say DMart. Usually DMart is constructed out of the city where people, or maybe for that there is a IKEA store, like furniture store. They take it out of the city, like it's a big because they get it at a low cost. They get land at low cost. They provide other accessories, but whether your shop will work or not, that you will have to take judgment. So further, you have to understand what are the unique selling point, clustering, what are the different clustering you are making, inclusive design, whether it will be affordable for the low cost, whether it will be environmental friendly, whether it will like whether it is aligned with all the government norms, that is called as a inclusive design. Next way of ideating is thinking in the form of themes. So you can give thought, let's say take one theme, keep it short and simple. So not more than 5 sentences I will write, or not more than 10 words I will write. Next theme could be top down and bottom up. So you can either go top down or bottom up. Next, focus. Select only key message element as the focus for the design. So what is the key message? And maybe Occam's razor, the principle that states that are really needed should be backed. So what is important should be focused, what is not important should be ignored. There are different philosophies. Quickly we can read Python philosophy, white space, graphic impact, user centered design, scale, text minimization, ergonomics, maybe team out TDI, and several other themes. You can think design as per your suitability. Inspiration and references, आपण त्याला कॉपिंग म्हणतो, वी कॉल इट ॲज अ कॉपिंग. इट्स अ, in the design phase sometimes we take inspirations and references. Resolve, to decide, bring to conclusion or end. Design ideas is resolved, it work with a final form. Or resonate, if you don't like existing design, you'll have to go it into resonate. If you get too many ideas, you'll have to go to resolve phase. Out of this 100, how I should arrive at 10. Out of this 110, how I should arrive at 3. Out of these 3, which are the best 2? Likewise. And if you have just to begin with 5 designs only, if you don't have sufficient designs, then you will have to go into another mode, that is called as a resonating mode. Then next approach of design generating idea is brainstorming. So like we call group of people, ask them to discuss so that new ideas will come out. But sometimes only dominating people will keep talking, whether they know it anything about that or don't know. But some kind of wise people, they don't like to shout loudly, and they don't want to express on the person who is dominating with voice. Some kind of introvert and extrovert, you might have heard these words. So in that case, we have to set the rules for the brainstorming. Like, we should not criticize whatever design comes or whatever idea comes. Keep the process manager free, no one will control. Avoid to resolve, let the ideas come. Work to target. What is the target? Keep on reading again and again. Clock watch, time has to be kept as a constant. Let go, sometimes we become angry if some idea comes which is against your philosophy or not. So in that case, you have to apply the let go. Be inclusive, let ask everyone to put their ideas. And for that purpose, sometimes we can use the kind of writing. You can give them white papers, ask them to scribble. Session participant write their ideas on sticky notes, say, then ask them to present, say it loudly, their ideas, and slap, and then finally stick the written notes on the board so that comparatively people can see and we can arrive with lot of ideas. Next is another way of thinking is value, maybe aesthetic value, prestige value, what kind of significance this idea will come, that what are the values that are being added by the designer, that has to be looked into. Maybe inclusion, sketching, sometimes we are not able to present our ideas properly, that's why sometimes sketching ideas, rough sketches are also fine. Then kind of presenting ideas is important. Sometimes thinking in the form of images, some kind of paintings, drawings, taking pictures. Some designers take a lot of pictures, photographs. Some designers record the audios and they ask to present. Some designers take screenshots of different designs and those are presented so that they become a triggering point in the design team. Appropriation is another technique. What is meant by appropriation? Like modifying an original design to suit another purpose is known as adaptation. One is adaptation. Next is distortion, maybe optical phenomena. Paradox, homage, like a designer can express their honor or respect to some community, some person. Or imitation is the copy, like we can copy also some design, that is called as a appropriation stage. Next is personification. These are very nice examples. So it's a little lengthy, very difficult to concentrate, I can understand, but you will not, these terms will help you. So sometimes design could be a designer centric or character centric. So like for example, we say Manish Malhotra's lehenga, or maybe some kurti or dress material for that matter. So it's a called as a designer centric. We are asking which designer this design has been made. We are not paying much attention on the designer, design of the dress or design of a particular, who is the designer. So sometimes the name of the designer is a larger than life. Our next is character centric. For example, if you see, I have here plotted Mickey Mouse character. So here in this case, the designer name will not come out at all. It's a just Mickey Mouse Disney World characters. It's not at all the name of who is the designer. Do you know any time? No. So it's a team of designers, so not a single person. So sometimes it's good, like, or sometimes it's a bad. For example, designer centric designer has got limitations. For example, I'm a particular cook and I'm making a recipe, and expansion of my recipes will be a difficult task, and that's why only one outlet will work. I will not able to make hundreds of outlet. On the other hand, if you see like a designer, character centric, you can take example of different recipes of Pizza Hut. So it's like you can open as many once we make a process, and once we make the process control mechanism, you can make several replicas of those shops, or maybe you call it as a franchisee. So which which business model you'll have to identify, that sometimes depends on the kind of design idea. Then next is a thinking in the form of shapes. When we are thinking in a design, maybe harmony, balance, alterations, or kind of creating drama by different angular, dynamic, triangular shapes, or using shapes in a design. So that's a kind of thinking in a shape. Thinking in a proportion, this is a very important, and it's my favorite topic, because God has created us in a thinking in proportion. So you can see the picture here. So our body is designed with something called as a golden section rule. So if you take any of the proportion from our navel to this neck and this complete our face, if you take that ratio, it will be 1s to 1.62, and that's where you will see some kind of Fibonacci series. You might have heard this number in your programming in computer science. So like 1 plus 2 is a 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, and likewise, like that's a n minus 1 plus n minus 2 is equal to n. That's the Fibonacci series, Fibonacci numbers. And if you take those Fibonacci proportions like 5s to 8 or 8s to 13, that will be the good proportion of shape. So hereafter, whenever you are giving shape, some posters, designs, etc., you should think of this Fibonacci number. So either it should be divided into 5s to 8 or 8s to 13, then only it will look. Or sometimes rule of odds, if you want to focus on one of the element, then you should have like odd number of elements. So you can, then you can focus on the odd. Rule of third is you can use in the photography. Like you can, next time whenever you are taking photograph, you can think of doing this. You can divide this frame like this, and you can stand here so that your image will look impressive. Maybe sometimes you think in the form of colors. So each of the colors in different society will have a different meanings. Like for example, white color, purity, innocence, goodness, critical. Maybe red color, exciting, dynamic, dramatic, aggressive. Green color, natural, plentiful, expensive. Pink color, passionate, flamboyant, attention seeking. So you can think of colors also, like whenever you are making GUI, etc. So these colors are also going to play a important role. Next comes about the prototyping. How are we making the prototypes? Once we have different ideas, we have to develop the different prototypes. So it's not necessary. Usually we can touch and feel these are the prototypes, but sometimes what you tell in the form of story, you create a picture by telling the story, that could also be a prototype. Just you are explaining, oh, this way it will look like, this way it will function, and all that. Sometimes design tells the story. Flexibility, design that is a flexible, it is also useful in Kolhapur district, and it is also useful in maybe Nagpur district. So that's called as a flex. Design leg, so whether it has a leg, it can go originated in a Konkan, but it is also adapted, accepted in some other region, adaptability. So that kind of story creating you can do. Then type of prototype, you can make some kind of model, printer dummy, some kind of stickers, shapes, drawings, scale models, and sketching. So some kind of mockets, like killa apan banato, so that is called as mockets, and some kind of different prototypes we can create. Next comes the implementing. I don't think there are much to tell in the implementation phase, but we have to check what format is good, what material is good, finishing. This is related to printing, so I will skip this part, scale, etc. So last part, uh, I'm coming maybe, and then we will maybe do some kind of
Hello.
ah,
Sir, it seems that
is it
network
audible?
issue is now it is audible, sir.
Okay. So now, uh, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you should take, बाकी काय जमलं नाही तर what you should take from design thinking. That's why I have created 4 slides here. It may not be visible. That's why I'm just zooming it out. Whether it is properly visible.
Yes, sir. It is
Maybe I
visible.
will. Yes. Okay. In the design thinking, don't ask what, ask why. Okay, so what we should ask is why. More focus is on what is to be done. Instead of that, what you should focus on is why it is to be done. Asking why is an opportunity to reframe the problem. So we will see one or two exercise also if our time permits. So asking why is an opportunity to reframe a problem, redefine the constraint, and open the field to more innovative answer. Ask why, why this, why not this, why, instead of how or what. Instead of accepting a given constraint, ask whether this is even the right problem to be solved. So sometimes we say someone has told this problem, go ahead and solve, but we should be, as we have said, in this we have to do paradigm shift. That is, we have to be rebellion. We have to ask, are we solving the right problem? Is this the real problem? This is as true as in responding to brief or designing a new strategy for a company as it is striking meaningful balance between work and life. So you have to understand that whether the complete redefining or redesigning new strategy for company or striking out the balance between work and life, we have to see from this, am I spending the time correctly? Make it visual. In the design thinking, the more focus is again should be given on making it visual. Okay, so making it visual. So if you can see here, record your observations and ideas visually, even if just as a rough sketch in a notebook or picture or camera phone. As I told you, we miss on the observation, we are becoming ignorant. We, as we are getting lot of bombarding of content on mobile, so many ideas, so many videos, so many pictures, so many WhatsApp, what to see and all that. So slowly our brain is becoming kind of ignorant, because our brain is not able to digest the so much content what we have received. But now when we are doing a design thinking, what we have to do is you have to record as many observations as visually possible. So that is, either you make sketches or take photographs. Taking sketches is very good idea, because Sometimes we take photograph but we don't observe, but so you can take maybe both so that it will go through your brain. Open your eyes. That's another important suggestion. That is why, what is mean by open your eyes. We spend most of our lives not noticing the important things. What is mean by open your eyes? We spend most of our lives on not noticing the important thing. The more familiar we are with the situation, the more we take granted. Daily we are coming from same road, same greenery, same when I came first time, I was excited to see route from your city to your college. So I don't know whether you are getting excited daily. You might have started ignoring it. So that excitement may not be there, like so much greeneries, and then it's like there are some small hills, and so we are going through small road, and some so many sugarcane farms and all that. So you maybe I have traveled one time, that's why I noticed. I don't know how many of you might be noticing that, and I may be doing same thing here. And that's familiar we are with the situation, the more we take granted. And but innovation begins with an eye. But I would like to take this one step further. Good design thinkers observe. What we have to do is we have to learn to observe. Good design thinkers observe ordinary. They not only just observe, but they observe ordinary things in an extraordinary manner. You have to observe the day-to-day routine things. We have to something called as, there are further more techniques in observation. There is called as a shadowing. Like sometimes we don't care how our parents earn money. Um, Maybe what they do it, what pain they go through it. Sometimes if you want to understand that, I guess you should go with your father or mother, whatever work they are doing, and you tell them, you just ignore me, I'm just doing a shadowing. Whatever you are doing, I'm just observing, don't count me, I'm just a hidden entity. And see, you will observe. And same thing sometimes, when suppose I have to modify some bike, then what I will do is I will sit on the back side of like pavilion writer, and then I will be riding maybe with 10, 15, 20, 100 users, and understand how they are using this technology. You should not intervene. When we are observer, it should be called as shadowing. You should not in, hey, you are not doing correctly your job, so that then you will not, then user will not give you expression. Because when you ask question, some of the questions, or for example, for that matter, you go to your mother and ask, can you, mother, can you give me recipe of making good tea? Hey, she will tell, hey, what is big deal in that? Take one pot, put water, put some sugar, put some tea, and let it boil for some times, and you take it out. But when you sit with her, when you shadow it her, you record some video, you take pictures, you will go into greater depth of why uh, a specific cup of tea made by my mother, or maybe my some aunt, is good than some other tea made at in even some five-star hotel. So what is the reason? What are the things? What are the differentiating factor? That's what I said. Like a good design thinkers observe, great design thinkers observe the ordinary. Make it rule that at least once a day you will stop and think about ordinary situations. So you should give a pause and think about the ordinary. Take a second look at some action or artifice that you would look at only once. Maybe some water bottle is there, or your pen is there, your notebook is there, laptop is there. You are just looking, oh, it's a daily routine. But you should see, observe, oh, what nicely they have done. Maybe color, what is make use of that, and how they are make it cheaper or whatever. In a different aspect you can look it. Take a second look at some aspect action artifacts that you would look at only once, as if you were a police detective or at a crime scene. So how you have to look is, you have to look as if you are at a crime scene and you are a police personnel. Next, the last observation in the design thinking is build on the ideas of others. Sometimes we think that everything should be started from the scratch. It's not necessary. You have to, that's why once you observe, you can build on the ideas of others. Everyone has heard Moore's law, like how technology takes, and even Planck's constant, but we should be suspicious when an idea becomes too closely identified with the person who is first thought it up. If an idea becomes a piece of private property, it is likely to grow stale and brittle over a time. If we are saying that this is a kind of private property of someone, already it is done, no, you have to relook and see what modification can be done. That's what is important in the design thinking. Next, begin at the beginning. Capacity to create a new unexpected idea, and will use the tool of design thinking as a mean of exploring the strategy. So sometimes we start late, we say what is use of this design thinking tool, what is new in that, I know better design. No, you follow it systematically from the beginning itself. Next one is fail early, fail often. We are afraid of failing. We say that in one go everything should be correct. No, you, when you fail you learn a lot. Sometimes failed experiments give a good outcome. You might have heard of the kind of, there are great inventions, those are coming out of failed experiments, like penicillin injection, and so many new life changing experiments they got out of the failed experiments. Like how rapidly an idea made tangible so that they can be tested and improved. That's why don't spend lot of time on prototyping. Just make it and make it fail, make it work. Leaders should encourage experimentation and accept that there is a nothing wrong with the failure, as long as it happens early and becomes a source of learning. It should not fail, the final product should not fail. We should be happy when it fails early, so that the cost will be so that, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we should not be afraid about the failure. Leaders should encourage the experimentation and accept it's a early failure. And we should not ignore the failure. We have to, each failure should be critically analyzed. It should be worked, what are the reasons of failure, what are the learning lessons from the failure, that has to be understood. Then prototypes needs to be testable, but they do not need to be physical. So sometimes we are like, we feel that we spend a lot of money on prototyping. That's not necessary. It should be testable, but it need not to be physical. Storyboards, scenarios, movies, or even improvised acting can provide highly successful prototypes. The more the better. So you can, with, as you save the cost on the prototyping, you will have more number of prototypes. For example, you can make kind of drama, take 10 students and make a prototype. If suppose this particle goes in this, if this goes in that, and this how it looks like, or maybe colorful sketches, etc. Maybe you are developing some GUI, make some drawings. And as I told you, even before going towards working prototypes, you can create a storyboards. maybe sheets after sheets. You can say if I click this sheet will come out, that is this page will come out, you can create a sheet. That is called as a prototyping. Take a human centered approach. Next important aspect that we have to focus is taking a human centered. The human centered approach of design thinker can inform new offering and increase the likelihood of their acceptance by connecting them with the existing behavior. You have not understood how your users are using earlier product. Without that understanding, hey, I know everything, and you start designing. No, that was earlier designer approach. Now we are going in design thinking. Whatever may be failed design or successful design, we have to understand, we have to sit with the users, we have to ask the humans why it was, why you like this product and why you don't like this product. So that has to be asked. Asking the right kind of questions often determines the success of new product or services. If you are not able to ask correct questions, right questions, then it will be difficult to arrive at the correct problem. Does it meet the needs of its target population? Does it creates the meaning as well as values? So we have to explore that, whether it is creating the required outcome, whether it is giving the meaning, whether it is giving the correct value. Then get the professional help. Sometimes we say I know everything, why I need support. So here we have to understand that, suppose you are good at programming, if you are not good at design thinking, you should take the help of expert, then only it will become successful. You cannot do everything on your own. So there could be team of different people, and that's how you need to take the help of professionals. Then share the inspiration. Next one is share the inspiration. What is meant by share the inspiration? Don't forget your internal network. So you discuss with people so that you get the new idea. Connect like-minded folks to leverage the common passion. So you can have a community, and through that you get lot of learning. Leverage insight about consumers to inspire multiple projects. So what you have learned from the consumers, that you can discuss, you can understand. Maybe some of the outcomes you are getting not related to this project, so you may get some new ideas. Sometimes you see some products people have developed, they had started thinking, they had started doing something else, but during the implementation of that they got new projects, and now their main product is what was as a subsidiary product. Using digital tool to document your project outcomes in a way that depends on the knowledge base of your organization and allow individuals to learn from it and to grow. So in the process we get lot of brainstorming, whatever discussion we had taken, that has to be documented. Budget to the piece of innovation. So design thinking is fast-paced, unruly, and disruptive, and it is important to resist temptation to slow it down by relying on the cumbersome budgeting cycle or bureaucratic reporting procedure. Sometimes design thinking is expensive, and people may not grant you budget, and that's why you'll have to work on the budget part also. Blend the big and small projects together. Here it will help you to saving the cost. Sometimes big projects can be clubbed with the small project. Find the talent. Anyway you can, design thinker may be in short supply, but they exist inside every organization. Sometimes you don't have to pay, you have to just discuss, and some will help you. You have to nurture also that talent for helping it. So these are the kind of takeaways from the design thinking. So now quickly we'll see the there is a one tool, very nice tool. I will show you this, maybe one video I guess. and then we will try to use some design thing. So there is a myro.com. You can visit if you are with computer, otherwise you can see this video and audio. Maybe some introductory video is there. I will. Okay, I'm not able to run the video. Maybe you can see this is the app. You can log in with Google on this. It's a free of cost. 3 boards are free, but what I do is I keep on duplicating it, and I keep on doing the kind of examples. So it will have only 3 boards are available. When you have to do it again, what you can do is you can duplicate and then you can run again. So maybe I will show you some tools here. You can put it in Google as a Myro and design thinking, so you will get various ideas how they are using Myro for design thinking templates and examples. So maybe like how to create a storyboard, how to create research template. So I will show you this, maybe easy and easy for you to understand. Okay, so you can see here, I will enlarge so that you can see. So here this is a storyboard. Ready templates are available. For example, like participants information, question and task, and overall observations. So what we can do is we can share this such boards. Here you can do it in a collaborative option, like I can copy link and share with everyone. You can practice this maybe in the afternoon, and you can ask what problems. For example, we can take a simple question. Maybe we can give a task saying idea one, what design thinking problem can be solved. uh, so 4 ideas you will have, 3 ideas you will have to write. So we'll say second idea here it can be written, and maybe third idea here it can be written. And then you can share this board with all your classmates, and then you can keep on adding here horizontally names of the members. And in that way we can in a collab, let's say I can write here my name, and see my name I can write here. Maybe I can put here my role as a maybe designer, something like that. And maybe details about me, something, maybe my institute name or whatever I want to write, I can write here. And then what are the different ideas I'm getting? Maybe let's say first idea I'm getting is to solve the question like how how we can uh, improve the attention of students in the class. This is the problem which I am thinking to solve. And maybe I can link with the second note here. I want to write maybe answer, maybe some tools for improving the attention. So this could be one aspect, and maybe different strategies, I will say, different strategies. So likewise, you can think of putting everyone's question here, and then out of which the best one which I like, that I can do. So this is how you can do it. There is a share option. You can copy link, and maybe here the way I will invite you, if you now it's I don't know where is the chat. So for example, I'm sharing in the chat meeting is available for team members, so they have not allowed me. uh, so you can share the this way your board, and let people join, and you can work in a collaborative manner. So this is one example I give. We can take some more examples here. Maybe I will take another example. You can create your own flow charts, etc., to show it example. Like for example, idea funneling. Earlier what I had shared, I will show you here. This is one example we have taken: could do, should do, and must do, and then next, and doing, sprint, and done. So for example, we get lot of ideas, and students are not clear on which ideas to be work. So this is one template they have created. What you can do is you can maybe add here and maybe I'll duplicate. Maybe what are the idea? Let's see. I have added like concrete composite, concrete microstructure, concrete chemistry, concrete physical, something like that. So these are the ideas which I could do, and then maybe some ideas, let's say model retrofitting, whatever idea. So I may have 100 ideas to work on. Maybe vehicle dynamics. And likewise, must do, that's the work which I have to do so that I can earn, something like that I can do. And maybe this is about backlog, the previous work. And then in future, next, what are I will be doing, that is in short, if I want to do next, what I will be doing right now, what are the work progress ideas, and what are the work completed ideas. Such board you can create. This is one more example. We will take maybe a few more example, and then we'll stop. Let's say again, you can search Myro and design thinking. You can get some more templates, and there is a one Y template, I guess will be useful. Scenario mapping is there. uh, it's very simple template, is a 5 wise template, which I like it more. So I will take maybe if you have a mic, we can do it in an interactive manner. I don't know, let me take review, and then we can, I will write here, as I will not able to share. It takes a lot of time, so that's why I will just ask about the, do you have mic to share with students? Hello, am I audible?
Hello, sir. You are audible, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as your video is not working, that's why. Okay. So now I will show you this board, like where we can formulate a problem. I was asking if you have a mic, so that we can take some problem in a collaborative manner, but I'm not able to see your video. Have you stopped it?
Our video is on only, sir.
Maybe I'll change focus. I have. Okay, some problem is there. I'm not able to see it, but let's say at least my board is visible properly. 5 wise I'm showing.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
visible.
Okay, so I will take some problem. Let's say I was telling it. Uh, let's define a some problem for a student. Let's say we will ask some student what is the problem. Let's say some student says I am not able to focus on my studies. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, so I'm not able to focus on my studies. That's my problem. Then question you should ask is why I am not able to. What is the question? What you have to create? Why are you? Why are you not able to focus on your studies? Okay, that could be why this is a problem, and now we are solving using this design thinking tool. 5 whys. Why are you not able to focus on your studies? Then you have to answer. Can you answer anyone? Because if you can, if anyone can answer, I will write your answer. Otherwise I will have to create hypothetically.
Anyone would like to answer why are you not able to focus on your studies?
Or they are able to focus. I am hypothetically creating. Okay, maybe I will say we I had missed several pre during online teaching learning. So that is the reason now I am not able to focus. Okay, next is what will next how what will be the question? Why did you, right? Why did you miss these prerequisites during the online process? Because I was not able to attend the online classes properly, right? Then next, let's keep asking. I'm going very randomly. Let's see what outcome comes after. Then why you were not able to attend online classes properly? Okay, then comes why you are not able to attend online classes. Maybe let's say we had internet connectivity and mobile charging. Very random. Mobile charging problem. Okay, then question comes why you had internet connectivity problem, right? Then comes, because I was in a remote place and I had not traveled to the place where network was proper. Then why you did not travel to the proper internet location? Okay, maybe. हॅलो, लेक्चर मध्ये कॉल करू का नंतर? नाही नाही, लेक्चर मध्ये कॉल करतो 10 मिनिट. Because why you did not travel? Because again, what you have to write? Casual towards my future and did not pay much attention on the loss of study. Okay. So, okay. And this finally, see, I did not moderate it automatically. Whatever it comes in my mind, I have been doing it. And you can see here, the root cause finally is coming, that I was casual towards my future and did not pay much attention on the loss during the corona. And that's the reason now I am not able to pay attention, because I have missed a lot of background. Is it clear how you can use? Maybe again you can repeat this. You can take it. How can I improve on, or here improving my focus on studies? So something like that. So this is one more tool I have shown you. Okay, please respond whether I am audible or not. Maybe we will take one more and we will stop. Am I audible, visible?
Yes, sir, audible.
My row and design thinking. Maybe this. As this is a computer class, you can see there is a app wireframe template also. When you have to create an app, you can use this also. And here this is again DMAC. This is what we studied, that is the define, measure, analyze, improve and control. So this is one more template, very good template. I guess maybe this is famous. DMAC is the famous template. We can take that and maybe stop and take some question and answers. Okay, here we can see first column we can define the complete problem. What are the different ways of defining it? Then you will have to measure. What is mean by measure? That you will have to do. You will have to analyze uh, it, and further you will have to think the strategies of improving it, and then you have to work on strategies of controlling it. So maybe one more that app related I will show you and stop. Okay, here comes, maybe I will play this video if it works, so that you can just see the how it works. So you can see how you can create without using a software background, etc., how you can design very nice. You can use Miro tool for creating your mobile app. Usually we do it in a random manner. So first you should create such design, see how you can, where the login will be there, where password will be there, uh, where could be a forgot password, where could be a privacy statement, how that window will look. And same, even though after sometimes you stop doing programming, you can create such template. Step 2 is board, first step is login, step 2 is board, and that how it will look once you log in it. So what can be there, like home and all that, you can copy some of the stuff here. And it's not necessary exactly how it looks, but if you want it to look it, you can copy it and place some of the things here. And once you click on some of the earlier cases, what will be the next action window will look like if I click on any one of each of the window. So that's how it will look like, and that's how you can design GUI. At least you can do this exercise here. There are they have given steps also how it should be done, etc. Similarly, I will request you to follow this exercise. I have told you it's very simple. You'll have to type in Google. I will enlarge and type, it's a Miro. So when you will put my row here, you have to, I will just log out and show you how to log in. You have to do log out. When you will log in first time, when it will come like this, log in with Google, with your Google account, you can log in, and then it will create, help you to create lot of templates. You can either take from the example, or they have recommended templates also. Various ready templates are there. You can use some of these templates for learning and understanding, and so many things, different things are available here. You can make best of use, make best use of it. I guess that's it from me. We can uh, ask some questions if possible. Your video is not visible for me. Can you once again make it on and off?
Is it visible,
Yes.
sir?
Now it's visible. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for such wonderful session, sir. Students are having few questions, so I'd like to ask students
Yes.
to come and ask the questions.
Thank you, sir, for thank you, sir, for highlighting on creative thinking and critical thinking and innovation. So my question is that sometimes we won't get enough data on Google. So how to find data on a respective topic?
Okay, very good question. Actually, so there are two tools which I am using. Maybe I will share it and I will show you. Uh, so if you go here again in Google, I will put here. So google.com. So actually, there is a one website for books. It's called as a pdfdrive.com. You can pdfdrive.com. So this is a wonderful website with almost, you can see, 81 lakh books, ebooks are freely available. This is the one website which daily at least I visit 2 to 3 times whenever I find it difficult, or whenever new topic I have to learn. Let's say if you put here design thinking also, I can tell you the reference books available. So the best book is, you can see this basic, the first one, the slides which I have made is, they are made from this basics of design thinking. Then this second book is also good, and then There is one more famous, this Change by Design is another good book you can download from here. And this is not only available in PDF, but if you have Kindle, etc., in Kindle form also that is available. The second good website which I mostly use is that is called as a Sci Hub. You can put SCIHUB. So whatever journal paper, most of the journal papers are now freely available. So whatever you want to search some paper, let's say if you put in Scholar, so you should search in scholar.google.com. And maybe let's say, let me check my latest paper whether it is available on this. So you can copy, you can copy this DOI link, or you can copy this link also, and you can paste it in this, and you can search. So latest paper is not available, but at least most of the papers are available on this. Maybe some other paper I can search and show you. Maybe Prashant Pawar. Let's take some old paper. Let's take this paper, and if I put it here, the search link, so you can see the PDF is available for this other paper. Yes. So you don't have to worry for the journal papers. And then there is a one more website. So you should, in short, you should take note of three website. I will again summarize maybe using some board. So there is something called as NDL library. So this is one more website I frequently visit, that is NDL, National Digital Library of India, where you get all the UG, PG, PhD thesis. Their thesis will be available on this. So you can make use of this website. You can maybe put here my name. Maybe let's check. So you can see my, yeah, you can see my thesis is available. Some of them are locked, but some of them are freely available. So you can download the thesis. And then one more website which I frequently follow is this is called as academia.edu. So there also you can, in fact, academia, there is an app also available. So this is very nice, academia.edu. And if you keep searching, what they will do is they will keep sending you an email of good document. Maybe I will show you how I keep getting the emails in my updates. So that way you will remain in touch with that particular topic. Maybe, yeah. So you can see here, I will get suggestions from this academia.edu. I get a lot of emails, junk emails. So, but usually you get nice reference. See, this they recommend, if something, whatever you have searched earlier, they will send you like some, if someone uploads document or document which is useful for you, and that helps you to keep on track, reading new things. Sometimes we forget to read good things, and that's how you get, see, I got some recommendations to read daily. I will get at least one or two emails from that website. So in short, maybe I will write here, is it visible, this board? So there is a PDF. drive.com. I will make little bigger after that. Then sci hub, then what I said, ENDL, and then I said academia dot, I guess, edu. So this is what you will have to, you can take screenshot or photographs, whatever if you want, right? So this is what you should read. That's it. You can ask any other question.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I tried to answer your question.
So one more question is there.
Yeah. Not audible. Hello.
Hello.
Can you repeat? Not audible.
One more, yes, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for sharing such informative thing on designing thinking and critical thinking. So what my question is, what is the process for selecting project topic?
Okay. So it depends on your three activities are there for selecting a project topic. One, usually what your guide suggests, and assuming that your guide has gone through a lot of literature and guide has been working for several years on the topic. That's one way of, simplest way of selecting the topic. Second way of selecting topic is maybe based on your job requirement, as most of the companies, they ask nowadays about the details of your project work when you will go for the placement. So you can see the potential companies visiting to your campus and a related topic of those companies working in those domains. So that could be, am I audible as your video is freezed? I just want to get feedback. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So second way of looking is based around the placement requirement, which companies are visiting to your campus, and what is the kind of demand, what is the demand of those companies for the what do you call, for the placement point of view. Third way is you can think of doing from the research. If you are in second year, systematically you can select the topic initially small in as a mini project, then connected project. So sometimes student, like when you go in the companies expect you to work in a kind of the topic in which there are 2-3 activities can be done. So let's say you can start initially with small activity, let's say DS subject, data structure or something like that. Then you are continuing that activity in your Python subject. Then further you are connecting that work in the artificial intelligence. So in a incremental manner you can take it to a final year. So that way, if your project is done for not just for 1 or 2 months, but collectively like PhD, 2 to 3 years of work with small contribution every year. So that will give you a big leap, and that will give you a big outcome. So even it will give you some good journal paper also, and sometimes in research journal papers are good to have it. I have mostly observed that students are of computer science, they are superficially doing work, just they are focusing on GUI, and that too, once they show it 1 or 2 part working, then they don't look into other aspects of project. So I guess overall we have to look into completeness of product, and it's not just making GUI or making product is the only research. So you are in the computer science, sometimes working models people think it as a project, but you should see the good journal papers and good thesis, how they do, what is meant by research, what is meant by research project, etc. And if you look from that point of view, you will get good idea about the research topic. I hope I have answered. Any other question?
Thank you, sir. Sir, no more questions. So, would like to end this session with the vote of thanks. So, I request Sanmana Madam to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. I'm very honored to give the vote of thanks for today's workshop. I thank today's resource person, Dr. Prashant Pawar, sir, for highlighting what is design thinking, process of design thinking, which was the most important phase, I guess, of this workshop. And also, sir have given some real-time examples related to design thinking as well as process of design thinking. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and guidance. Also, I would like to thank Principal Sir, Dr. S. Sawant, sir, to giving an opportunity to organize such workshop. Also, I would like to thank faculties who are involved in organizing this workshop, and last but not least, students and participants who are being present here. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for patient listening. I will now hang up. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.